proper answers to this page, and you can question me if you don't have what I have, and we can go through it. I know it's still blue. Have no fear. But what I do not wish to do is explain every single question in detail, because you should have already done these, right? So if you didn't do them, and you are madly trying to copy this down up here, first of all, you're not going to get all of it. It's not going to make a lot of sense. But you will be able to go back and watch the video of it. Okay? Okay. That was anticlimactic. Nothing yet? Oh, there we go. All right. So this one was 150 meters squared. From now on, ladies and gentlemen, I will not be bothering to put the unit because I don't care enough. Okay, this isn't middle school. The numbers are what's important. Okay? This one is, can't remember what it is. Should be 216. 216. This one was tricky because you had to find this side, which meant you had to do Pythagoras. Square root of 6 squared plus 8 squared, square root of 100. So that side was 10. Once you had that, it was not complicated. This one was 192. And this one was the first tricky one because of a few things. One, you didn't have this measurement, except you did have that measurement because this whole bottom was 4, yes? Or 12, yes? And it was split into 3 equal parts, making it 4. And then everywhere with that line is 4. Now, if you did this like you were in grade 9, you may have done this surface area plus this surface area minus 2 overlaps. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But if I were doing this, I would do this. Everything blue is all part of the bottom prism, yes? So if you do just the bottom prism and then add 4 of these yellows, because there's 4 all the way around, you would get the same answer with a lot less work. Does everybody understand what I mean by that? Because this is technically this, isn't it? But it's had a tower added to it. Right? And that tower had these 4 extra squares. Got it? Do you have to do it that way? No, it just saves you work. And so the answer was 288. Is everyone okay with those? Yeah? Okay. This is where it starts to get tricky. There's no formula for this, is there? No, you just got to add up all the sides, right? The only part of this that gets really tricky is you don't know this distance right here. But you do, because this is 4 and this is 3. So this must be 5. And once you have that, you can just add up all the sides, right? And when you add up all the sides, you get 144. Now, do I need to write out all the sides, or can you figure that out? Okay. This one is a little bit tricky because of, you guys shouldn't have that there. Do you have that little symbol? You do. Damn it. You weren't supposed to, because it's a trick question. This shape can't exist if that's 90 degrees. Right? Why not, William? Because you can't have 5 and 5 and 8 there if that's 90. Okay? I usually put that on my honors questions. Say, find the surface area, and they do all this work. And then I say, no, it can't be that. And they're like, what? And then I don't tell them why. And then they're like, it is that. And then they get really, really mad at me. It's so funny. They write out formulas, they whole page of work, and no. And I won't tell them. It's super fun. But I screwed up and I pasted the wrong one into your guys' book. Your guys' book, this should not be there. So that probably screwed some people up. But all you had to do was this to find the height, right? Because this was 5, this was 4, so this had to be 3. And then once you have the height of the triangle, the base was 8, base times height. Then it's super easy, right? Then you just add up all the sides. And when you add up all the sides, depending on how you did it, the right answer is 386. But a lot of people have something different because I screwed up there. That's my fault, not your fault. Good. Everybody cool? Okay. Do people need to see that one? Because it is a little tricky. I don't mind. So that green side, how many of them are there? 2. The purple side, how many of them are there? 2, right? The yellow side, how many of them are there? 2. And what am I missing? What color haven't I done? The blue side, how many of them are there? 2. Now, what's missing from my calculations now? The bottom. So I also had to add the bottom. How many bottoms? Just 1, right? And the bottom was 8 by 15, right? And then the rest of this, they're all just rectangles and triangles, so you just add them up, right? The green one was 2 by 2 by 15. The yellow one was 2 by 8 by 2. The purple one was 2 by 5 by 15. And the blue one was tricky. That's one you had to work out. The base was 8. The height was 3. There were 2 of them, but because they're triangles, you're supposed to divide by 2, right? But 2 and 2 cancel, so you were left with 8 by 3. Then when you do all of this and add it up, you get 386. Cool? Sweet. This question I always have fun with this question because most kids do it wrong. How many of you guys cut this in half and found the 2 surface areas? It's not wrong. I shouldn't have said they do it wrong. They do it in a longer way than they need to. The way I do this question is this. I do the whole thing, and then I subtract out this little rectangle, because that's all that's missing, yeah? And then it's missing again there. So that green section is 2 by 11, right? And there's 2 of them. So I've lost 44. But everything else is still there, isn't it? Because this side and that side would make the whole side of the prism, right? And this is still the roof, yeah? Again, it's not wrong. I just think it's easier to do one calculation and minus those two. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Negative space is a big help in geometry if you understand what isn't there as much as you understand what is there. Sweet. And moving on. Oh, sorry. The answer was not 192. It's 4 something. I think it's 444. Exactly. Now, H was a bit tricky. Of course, you just get to follow the formula, 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. Now, in grade 10, what do I want you to do with pi? Just leave it. So that's 2 pi times 3 squared plus 2 pi times 3 times 8, which is 18 pi plus 48 pi to get 66 pi. I'm happy with that, okay? If you're ever writing a test for me and I forget and I leave the decimals in there, then you just convert it, right? So on your calculator, you just go 66 times pi button equals. Or you don't even do that. You recognize that 66 is pretty close to 70. Pi is pretty close to 3. So your answer must be pretty close, approximately 210. So you look at your choice, and if one's near 210, you know that's the right answer. Picking up what I'm putting down? Read my mail, mowing my lawn? Excellent. And finally, the question that almost everybody in the room will probably have done at least part of wrong. Not wrong the way we did it before, like doing it differently than I would do it, but you probably did it wrong. Here is why. What does that say that I just highlighted? Square feet. What does this say that I'm highlighting now? Meters. So I got to convert meters to feet, don't I? Except what? We know that 1 foot equals 0.3048 meters, yes? But this is not feet, is it? What is it? Square feet. So does this conversion work? No, it does not. Here is why. 1 by 1. If that's 1 foot and that's 1 foot, then this is 1 foot squared, yes? Everyone agrees? Yeah? Okay. Now, if I draw that again, but I want it in meters, this is not 1 foot, it's 0.3048, isn't it? So what's this? 0.3048. So what's this in meters? That times that, which is 0.092. Okay? Now, it's a little tricky because I didn't give you this conversion. But you understand what square and linear means. We've done that. So what you really have now is 1 foot square equals 0.092 meters squared. Now you can do the conversion. You have 300 feet. You want meters. So it's meters over feet. 1 meter foot square is 0.092. So with the 1 on the bottom, it's just multiply. And it comes out to 27.6 meters squared. That's the first mistake anyone's going to make. Did anybody who actually did this do that right? Nice. Anybody else? You see how it works now, though, yes? All right. So the next thing that people do wrong is the dimensions of a room. 4.1, 5.3, and 3. Where does paint go in a room? On the walls. 4.1 by 5.3. Is that walls or floor? Floor. The walls are 4.1 by 3 meters tall and 5.3 by 3 meters tall. How many walls are there? How many walls are in a room? 4, unless you're on TV, then there's only 3 walls. So this had to be times 2 and times 2. Obviously, it depends on the room, yes. But when you are going to buy your paint, so I do all that math and I end up with 56.4 meters squared. What do I got to do with that and that number? 1 gallon of paint will cover that many square meters. I got to cover that many square meters. So what do I do? Pardon? Divide. I divide by 27.6. And here's the next mistake you're going to make. 2.04. How many gallons of paint do I have to buy? 3. Kids always want to write 2. Go round down. If you want to leave a little corner of your room not painted, feel free. L. The next question is, if you were to do the ceiling, you would have added the ceiling to your work, right? Yeah. And I would have given you marks for that. Because the question isn't about the right answer for the 20 millionth time. I need you guys to let go of middle school, okay? Just let it go. It's over there now. We care about your work, all right? The work is what matters. So if indeed you decided to paint your ceiling, why you would do that, I do not know. But if you chose to paint your ceiling, and you showed me in here that you were painting your ceiling, and you did all these right, you divided, you did all your meters right, what am I going to give you? Full marks. Do you understand? Because this is not a course in if you understand interior design, is it? Okay? Everybody cool? All right. Now, the one thing I would have to say is floor. Because very, 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 very rarely is a floor painted. Okay? It's got tile or linoleum or carpet or something like that. Now, sometimes you paint your floor. For example, if you have a concrete floor. Some of you may have a concrete floor in your basement. You may have it painted. The people who owned my house before me had a concrete floor in the basement. They didn't want to paint it, so they put down linoleum. Then they decided they didn't like that linoleum, and they were lazy sacks of crap, and they put more linoleum on top of it. Yes, that's so bad. But that's what happens when morons get in charge of a house. Of course, you could argue I've lived there for 8 years. I have not pulled up either layer of linoleum. I just keep pointing at it, saying, look at what those idiots who owned the house before me did. But I have fixed a bunch of their mistakes. Like they didn't hook the downstairs shower up to the drain. So when I tore the shower out, you should have seen all the plant life growing under my shower. Yes. They didn't hook it up to the drain. They kind of aimed it so it was over the hole, but they didn't actually hook it up. Which he did the same thing in the kitchen sink when he was put in his new kitchen sink that he was so proud of when he was showing me the house. But the price was right. I got it very cheaply. So, what are you going to do, right? Okay. We're all good? Everybody's good? Excellentio. Please go in your new pink books. Oh, in your new plasma pink books. Please go to the page entitled Volumes of Prisms and Pyramids. If you do not have a plasma pink book, please grab one. It is page approximately 28, I believe. Yeah, go ahead and take one. I don't care. Go ahead and take one. Volume of Prisms and Pyramids. Page 28. Is it not page 28? Are these pages not numbered? No. Son of a...
This one, some of the questions are upside down.
No, the questions aren't upside down. The answers are upside down.
I got it. I'm good.
These aren't numbered?
No. Oh, and the men are all moving. That's the whole thing. Oh, thank you. It goes to 75. No, mine goes to. Oh, it's numbered in the back. It's like 100, and then it goes to.
Oh, yeah.
Mine goes to 51. Mine goes to 51 too. And then they just didn't do 1 to 50.
That's a kick in the nuts.
Mm-hmm. What did you just say? He said that's a kick in the nuts. What did you just say?
I didn't say anything.
Oh.
I said my things right there.
Oh, okay. I only say this because there's a song from a band that when I went to school at university, the chorus was a kick in the ass, a slap in the face. And I thought that you had said, when he said a kick in the nuts, I thought you said a slap in the face. Like, oh my God, nobody knows that band. Woo.
Pink one's right?
Yes, except you're saying it wrong. It's plasma pink.
Plasma pink.
Get it right.
What's the difference between the
There
two?
isn't any difference.
Then why do some people
Oh, the blue is your work. Get the blue one. You need the blue one too. Terrestrial teal. I was going to call that one the math foundations of and pre-calculus math 10. I was going to call it Wolfpack and see if they changed it because I wanted to call it the Wolfpack, but I didn't. Then I would make you all do the Fuller House thing. If you haven't watched Fuller House, you should. It's actually pretty funny. I was surprised at how funny it was. I thought it was going to be a piece of crap, but it wasn't too bad. And I like all the jokes on it. Like, who wouldn't pay a small fee to watch a show without commercials? Yes? They're not. The twins aren't on the show. That's Full House. Fuller House is 20 years later.
But they're still not twins. There's still no twins on it. It's just the one girl.
No. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen are in the new one because they're billionaires. They don't need to do
No,
that
I know,
show.
but there's only one of the kids in there. Like one of the twins is acting. They're not both the kids in there.
Which twin? Oh, Uncle Jesse's twins from the first one. Oh, I didn't know that. All right, so guys, this literally takes 2 seconds if you follow along with me. We have done surface area. Surface area is outside of something, okay? Our surface area is our skin. Because we dove into a bucket of paint with our mouths closed and our eyes closed, only our skin would be covered with paint. Our guts wouldn't be, okay? Volume is everything, outside and inside, all right? Volume has 3 dimensions. Volume has height, width, depth. Surface area has 2 dimensions, only a length and a width. Because if you were to peel my skin off, you could lay it out flat. Okay, it is gross, but it works. Okay, that is why surface area is 2 dimensions, because it can be laid flat. Volume cannot be laid flat. Everybody cool?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we're still recording. Good. We recorded marking the last work, Tanisha, so you can check it later.
Cool.
In reality, I love that all of you can blow so well. In reality, how many dimensions does this piece of paper have? 3, in reality. Because it is indeed has a depth, yes? For theory, in math class, how many dimensions does this paper have? 2. It's got a length and a width, right? Everyone agree? Okay. This is a rectangle, yeah? And it is only 2 dimensions. Cool? What happens when I take this rectangle and I repeat it infinitely? Say I repeat it 500 times. What do I get? I get a sack of paper. In reality, what do I get in math class? A rectangular prism and a volume. Understand? So this paper was 11 inches by 8 inches. 88 inches square, yes? Now if I take that and I stack it up, I build volume, don't I? So volume of a prism must be the shape you start with multiplied by however many times you stack it. Does everybody understand? Now, do you think it matters if I change this shape? If I make it a triangle, can I stack triangles? Will I get a prism? Will that prism's volume be this area repeated? Yes. What if I make an hexagon and I stack it? What will it be? It will be the area of this hexagon multiplied by however many times I stack it. Understand? Everybody understand? Now, if I put this hexagon on the bottom, it makes sense to call it a base, yes?
Yes.
But if I put it on the side, it no longer makes sense to call it a base, does it?
No.
But it is still the basic shape that is repeated. Do you understand?
Yes.
So the problem becomes, if you memorize your formulas, if you look on your formula sheet, you see that every volume is simply this. Volume of a prism, it always says base area times height. Because it is always true. Except you have to remember that base area, the base doesn't mean the bottom, it means the repeated shape. And height does not necessarily mean height, it means the number of repetitions. Because if I take my hexagon, and we are not going to figure out the area of a hexagon, but if I take my area of a hexagon and I repeat it this way, then my height from the formula is going left to right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody with me? Just let's make sure that that is the case. I am going to draw a hexagon. I lie. I drew an octagon. And I'm going to repeat that octagon. The front octagon has an area of 40. The prism has a depth of 10. What is the volume of this prism? 400. Because this was 40, and I repeated it 10 times going backwards. Does everyone understand? Shape doesn't matter. If you know the area of the repeated shape, however far you go back, up, left, right, is how you find the volume. Cool? So what if I gave you something that looked like this? How would you find that volume? If you could find this area, would you know the volume? Why? Because that zigzag has been repeated that many times. Everybody understand? As long as you can find one of the faces, the face that repeats, you can always find a volume. Everybody cool? Okay. That's a prism. But of course, we also have pyramids. Now, you guys are smart kids. Let's pretend this is a perfect cylinder. Okay, it's got a volume of 1 liter. Everyone agree? How would you find that volume? It would be the area of this multiplied by the height. Cool? So pi r squared times h. Everybody with me? Right. Now, if I make a circular pyramid from this, what will stay the same? The area of the base will stay the same. They're both going to be a circle, aren't they? But a pyramid, which we call a cone, comes to a point, doesn't it? So what happens to all of this volume on the way up? It disappears, right? A cone has less volume than a pyramid. Or than a cylinder, right? Through experimentation, your good friends and mine, the ancient Egyptians, Greeks, Indian mathematicians, Arabic mathematicians, through experimentation, those dudes figured out that a pyramid is always 1/3 of its prism. Always. So if a prism is base area times height, then every single pyramid is base area times height divided by 3. Everybody cool? Everybody understand? So if you can find the prism, you can always find the pyramid by dividing by 3. Please notice that that is only volume. I could be ironic. Watch this. That's only volume. See what I did there?
It's so bad.
Shut up. It was funny.
Terrible.
It was funny. E. See, now I can do echo effects too. Or my personal favorite, this one. Yeah. Get it? Because I moved the mic away. Okay. Everyone is good? All right, I'm shutting up. You got 20 minutes to do this. 1 second, just let me tell you what you got to do, then you can take your daily trip to wherever it is you need to go. This question says return to the previous 5 questions. That is not what I want. Okay? Here is what I want. The last worksheet that you did, the one that we put the marks up today, go back and find the volume of everything but the room. Don't do the painting one, because you would never measure the volume of a room. Clear? So go back and do that. And that's it. You got 3 days to get that done.
Awesome.
Okay?
Awesome.
Okay.